Welcome to another In Wheel Time podcast, a 30-minute mini version of the In Wheel Time car show that airs live every Saturday morning, 8 to 11 a.m. Central.
Celebrating 10 years of award-winning car talk, this is the In Wheel Time car show, your weekly go-to all things automotive place. Coming up, this week's events calendar. Conrad has This Week in Auto History, and we'll get you updated on the stories making news this week. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Howdy, along with Mike out of this world, Mars. And clearly his brain has been out of this world.
Uh-oh. What are you trying to say?
No, his brain was back on the 9th.
Yeah, we left it behind. Apparently.
Yeah.
Well, it's in his behind.
In his mind. What mind? Along with King Conrad DeLong, we need more Jeff Zekin. I'm Don Armstrong. Glad that you could join us here on this Saturday. That so far has been a pretty good Saturday up to this point.
So there we go.
We've reached game 2 of the playoffs.
We're done. We have.
No, we've reached the World Series level.
No. I mean for the show.
Oh, okay.
We're doomed.
Yeah. But at any rate, so what do you want to do, boys?
Well, you talk about recalls because you always have a list of recalls.
Already did those.
So there's always kind of a pre-recall question that's out there as NHTSA starts their investigations. Right now, NHTSA is investigating 131,000 Ram pickup trucks, heavy-duty Ram trucks, that are being called back for a potential fire risk with the diesel engine because the intake heater grid.
Now, was that with the Cummins diesel, or is that with their own diesel?
No, with the Cummins diesel.
Okay.
So the intake heater grid is having a problem. Now, people go, oh, what's an intake heater grid? Literally, it's a wire mesh that heats the air, turns red, and heats the air as it goes into the engine.
So it's kind of like one of those things that you have at the office that you heat your buns in.
Right. Yeah, like a toaster oven.
Yeah,
toaster
oven. Yeah.
But, what's the purpose of it is to heat the air charge going into the engine so that the fuel atomizes better. So what they've done is they've added this heater grid and eliminated glow plugs. So there's a reason for the heater grid, and in doing that, they took the glow plugs out of the diesel. Glow plugs it's an expensive system because it runs at a much higher voltage than the vehicle does, so you have to have some amplifiers in the truck to do that. And taking glow plugs out of a diesel is always a nightmare because you're always stripping them out.
Isn't it like an antiquated system now?
Glow plugs, there was a time where they were important, and some diesels still run glow plugs. But
wait a minute, didn't I have glow plugs on my little model airplane?
Yes.
Yeah, the little Cox engine that ran on castor oil.
Uh-huh. The same thing.
Mm-hmm, exactly.
So you attach the thing, the
little
probe
clip
up there at the top of the cylinder
to heat it up.
Yeah.
And once it heated up, it basically operated like a diesel.
So same thing.
Exactly the same thing. And then NHTSA is also looking into some stalling issues on a whole bunch of Ram heavy-duty trucks as well with the diesel in them. So they're struggling with delivering the diesel at a quality level without having some issues, and I think that's hopefully that's not going to hurt them, but always can. Toyota introduced their new Tundra, and you talked about that last week with the twin turbo V6.
Haven't driven that yet. I'm looking forward to it. It looks really good.
I'm excited because it's a very good looking truck, and that's a heck of a powertrain.
Well, it's about time. What is it, like 13 years old?
They updated it.
My son's got a Tundra. I like the truck. He loves it.
I wasn't a big fan. Well, I was originally, but 13 years later, it was time to move on with that thing.
Yeah.
So they're also going to offer what I'll call an Uber level luxury of the Tundra called the Capstone, which is a new level of luxury at Toyota on the Tundra.
They need to.
Where do they come up with these names?
I don't know. Usually it's some marketing firm that comes up with the names, and then they do all of this testing and see how it resonates with people out there. And you're going, really?
Must be a lot of drinking involved.
Apparently.
Yeah, we could be a marketing firm.
They could get together a bunch of drunks, and they don't even know that they're drunks. Get them all together and go, what do you think of that? Oh, that's great. We have a lot of that.
Give me another round over here.
They could start. They
call it the Capstone.
Call it the Capstone.
They could start
a great name for a bar.
Well, and then let's look at, GMC truck has had the Denali has always been their Uber level, while they're going to step one up above the Denali, which doesn't make sense to me.
They all need to step up because Ram kicks everybody's butt when it comes to the actual luxury.
Quality.
Yes,
by
the
far.
Interior, hands down.
So GMC is going to come out with an upper level Denali called the Ultimate. And that's in the 1500 trucks, and that's going to start at $80,000 and go up from there.
That's a $100,000 truck.
Absolutely.
The Denali Ultimate.
It starts at 80.
And you got to remember, Denali has become a separate sub-brand
Agreed.
within GMC.
And you know, when everybody at Dodge went, you're going to take away the Ram pickup truck from Dodge and give it its own
Ram.
name, everybody going, what? Well, look how that's worked out pretty well.
Very, very well.
Yeah.
Very, very well.
All
So,
right.
you know, hopefully they're going to both upgrade the Toyota and GMC, upgrade their interiors, because that's where Ram just stomps them into the ground.
We got him, Mike.
Got him.
All right. Well, let's go to our interview, shall we? His name is Max Callis. Max, how are you?
Hello, sir. Good morning.
Good
Very
morning.
good.
Where are
How
we?
about you?
Well, we're doing very well, thank you. Where are we speaking to you from?
We're in McAllen, Texas, right now in our home.
Yes? Very nice. Well, I think that the last time I saw you was at Houston Motorsports Park, was it not?
Yeah. Last time was a last race, I think, right? Or something.
Yes, exactly. And great. Had what vehicle do you drive in competition at Houston Motorsports Park?
We race in Houston Pro Modified.
Pro Modified, yeah. And let me tell you something. Those modified drivers in those cars, dude, that is some wild stuff on a Saturday night.
I think they're nuts.
They are. Well,
I think you're nuts, man. You're crazy.
You know, he kind of has that nuts
Yeah.
look.
He's smiling.
Yeah,
He likes
he's
it.
smiling.
He
I
likes
think
it.
he likes the kudos.
Yeah.
You like the compliment because that's what it is.
Thank you. Yeah, well, yeah. It's a lot of fun, definitely. I mean, those cars are very fast and they have high horsepower, and on that small short track, it's very fun to race against.
Yeah.
Got a little pushing around going there while you're racing.
Listen,
huh?
these guys are so serious. I saw, this was not this past year, but the year before, a couple of drivers got into it, and they were ugly with one another.
Mm-hmm.
And the passion seems to go throughout the field in that particular class. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just because that there's not as many of those as there are, like, for instance, the pro trucks that they race out there. But there is a certain angst, some sort of a thing.
Je ne sais quoi.
Yeah, whatever that is. But don't you agree with me, Max, that I mean, there's a certain passion that you guys have that I think is kind of unique to the modifieds, don't you?
Yes, for sure. I think it's mostly because these kind of cars, as you've seen it, they are open wheel, so it's not the same to race these kind of cars comparing to the pro trucks that actually have fenders.
Yeah.
So you can play around a little bit more against each other. And on these cars, you have to have so much respect for the other, because if you do a wrong move, I mean, it can be ugly, as you can see.
Yes.
And is your class pretty much the fastest on the track at this point?
Yes, I think so. I think we're the fastest, and the Outlaws too. Sometimes they're kind of the same, but most of the races, yes, we're the fastest guys. We're around half a second faster than a pro truck on a 15-second lap racetrack. So it's a lot of
15-second lap.
Yeah, they are. Absolutely.
And what kind of powertrain do you run?
I run a Ford engine at 347. It's a 302 stroked to a 347, and it's sealed actually, so it's what we call a crate motor. And then we have the other option that is the open engine that you can put pretty much wherever you want. You have to raise 100 pounds heavier, but you can have 200 horsepower more. But I think on this, at least on this racetrack, for me, it has worked out more the smaller engine, because you spin the tires less, so you can run faster on average on a long run.
Yeah, with lesser horsepower in the track size. Yeah, absolutely.
And how long will an engine last as far as the season goes? Will an engine go the whole season for you?
Yes. Well, if you get lucky, you can definitely run an engine for around 2,000 to 2,500 laps. So it's a lot of laps.
Oh, yeah.
But you definitely have to take care of them. We mostly refresh ours every season, so we run them for a season and then just refresh it. And for a season, we don't run as much. I think I'll run maybe 1,200 laps or 1,500 laps. So I think we can get more out of it, but it's on the risky side. So
when you refresh a sealed engine, do you have to send it out to a specific rebuilder, or are you allowed to do that at home?
No, you have to send it to a certified sealed builder, so they can do all the work and reseal it, and it has a serial number. So
and you can't cheat.
Yeah.
No, definitely can't.
Well, you said you run 1,200 to 1,500 laps a season. How many actual races is that?
Well, you're looking around 10 races, something like that.
Okay.
Around 10, 12 sometimes. Like for a weekend, you race you run the car around 100 to 150 laps, depending on the length of the racetrack,
and practice also, and everything.
Yeah, exactly. It's mostly on the practice where you wear out your stuff the most, because the races are not that long actually, but you practice a lot, and that's where you actually wear out your cars.
Car setup and stuff. Yeah, good information.
So you, I guess that you cut your teeth down in Mexico racing, did you not?
Yes. I'm born in Mexico, and I moved here around 11 years ago. So I started racing over there when I was 7 or 8 in go-karts, in road course go-karts. And then we move up to the ranks to the smaller Formula cars, and then some touring cars, everything on road course. And then the last 2 years I raced in the NASCAR Mexico series over there in Mexico. That's pretty much the biggest racing series that we have over there. And I moved here when I was 15 to U.S. I'm 25, so I started racing here on dirt when I came here, and I didn't race asphalt for a long time. Actually, I stopped racing asphalt for like 5 years or so, but I raced a lot of dirt here on South Texas, and we started racing asphalt around 3-4 years ago, I think, and it's been good. I mean, it's been a fun ride for sure.
So when you say you raced in Mexico, is this with you have family, brother, sister, your parents supported you, or is this with a team? How did you get from the dirt in Mexico to racing in the U.S. with a team, or is this family?
Well, in Mexico, I mean, obviously when you start racing, your family has to support you, right? I mean, to start with, and my family supported me when I was a kid on the go-karts, so they supported me for around, I don't know, 4 years, something like that. And then when I moved up to the Formula cars and the NASCAR stuff in Mexico, we had a lot of help, like sponsors and stuff. So my family didn't have to like help me out at some point, you know.
Sure.
So
right.
So that's how I did over there, and I did super good on the last years. And then when I moved here, I had to start all over again. So yeah, I mean, when I moved here, when we started on dirt, my family supported me again to get back on racing, and it was the same story, but now in the U.S. You know,
Max, is there? Pardon me for interrupting, but is there a large difference between the cars that race in Mexico and the ones that race here?
Well, depending on what kind of racing you're talking about, because if it's oval racing, well, yes, I mean, the NASCAR Mexico cars, that is pretty much the only thing that we have that race on ovals in Mexico. It's kind of like a late model stock.
Yes.
For here, for like the ones that race in North Carolina and stuff. It's more like a stock car, but like it has I don't know, around 500 horsepower. I mean, they are fast. I mean, but when you talk about road course cars, we have a lot of different stuff over there, because that's pretty much like what we have the most road course series, like formula cars, touring cars, and endurance and all that. So we do have in Mexico a Formula 4 series, Formula Renault, and the Super Cup Mercedes-Benz. That is like some touring cars, kind of like the Trans Am series over here in the U.S.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Are you still racing in Mexico in these other series?
No. I just race here now. I mean, I haven't raced in Mexico in some years now.
Okay, all right.
I race the most here, but that's where I come from. And like I said, when I came here, I raced there for like 4 or 5 years, and then I started on asphalt again. Actually, in Houston, that's when I got back on asphalt on a pro truck, like I said, like 3 or 4 years ago, something like that.
How did this season? I know the season was rather short. There weren't that many races. A couple of them rained out, and various and sundry things really kind of cut the season short. How do you think that you did overall with your season here at Houston Motorsports Park and over in Mobile too?
Well, it was definitely a very good season. Like you said, I mean, it was short, so we didn't have a lot of opportunities to race here. But actually this season I only raced twice here. The first race and this last one, and I finished second on both. The first one, I got on a racing deal, and I got spun out, and I started on the back, and I went up to second, and we finished second. And then, like I said, on the middle of the season, I didn't race because I got injured in Mobile on a modified, actually. So I broke my arm. I hurt my elbow, so I stopped racing for like two months.
Ouch. So you were the driver that had the drive shaft break on the car.
That's me.
That was a scary deal. I went over there and helped Rodney call that race, and we noticed that the car just kind of stopped on the back stretch. And everybody was running over there going, something's going on here that's just not right, because it wasn't right. And they were going to push the car, and the race director says, no, don't push the car. Let's get the driver and find out what's going on. And as it turns out, he injured his arm because the drive shaft came up through the floor. Well, It was in the hoop, but it injured him. Am I correct?
Well, it broke everything and went through the through the car,
through the floorboard. Yeah. That's scary stuff, because here you got a drive shaft flopping around underneath you and coming through
and throwing stuff, your shrapnel your way.
Yeah, exactly.
And if you push it, it's going to be.
Well, how are your injuries now? Are you healed up?
Yes. I mean, I think I'm good. I mean, sometimes it hurts a little bit when I do a lot of work, but no, I mean, it's good. I mean, it could be much worse than what it was.
Yeah.
I think that got very lucky, because the way it hit my arm, it didn't really damage it as much as it could.
Yes.
So
exactly.
I think that we got lucky, and I mean, we got back to racing, like I said, like 2 months after that, and went to Mobile to race Pro Late Model, and we finished second on that one.
Very nice.
It hurt a little bit. Honestly, I think I wasn't ready for that one, but
yeah, 2 months is a little short turnaround time. Yeah. So, what are you looking forward to for next year?
Well, obviously the season in Houston and in Mobile, even myself as a driver and our development team. So I think that we're we are on a good direction, and hopefully next year we can get some wins. And I think we'll race some late models like we always do, like the super late model at Speed Weeks in Florida at the beginning of the year, and just hit some of the bigger races that they have out of state. And like I said, just race as much as we can.
Well, good. Well, we look forward to seeing your progress, and hopefully you'll win the championship next year, and we wish you the best of luck. It's great talking to you. Great getting caught up. Thank you for all the information, and we hope to talk to you again soon.
Thank you very much. And like I said, thank you for the opportunity. I'm very happy to be here, and I hope to talk to you soon. And like I said, we'll still be working hard to get good results. And I just want to thank everybody that makes this possible. Advanced Auto Parts for all the work that they do with Gina Child Knows to get the racetrack going and everything. I mean, I think that next year will be definitely better than this one.
Well, we look forward to seeing you perform next year. All right, thanks, Max Callis. Great to talk to you again.
Thanks.
All right, time now for This Week in Auto History. And Conrad always has that. I hope that all of the slides are in order.
Who knows? We'll find out.
I guess we're going to find
too.
Yeah, all right.
So,
what do we got?
Well, with Jeffrey, we always have to have a Cadillac story.
You darn betcha.
In 1902, the first Cadillac was completed and given its maiden test drive this week.
I like that word.
And there it is.
That's fine-looking steel.
Isn't it? I like the wicker basket on the side of it. I haven't figured out what that wicker basket's for.
On a door seal where it says Fisher Body that looks like that? That's the actual coach, a Fisher Body.
And probably have fish in that thing they take home and cook.
That's what they do.
Also, in 1919, Rolls-Royce America was established, and their luxurious motor cars proved to be quite a favorite means of transportation for the American elite. That is a Rolls-Royce that was built in the Boston area.
Oh, wow.
And Rolls-Royce had production in the Boston area for quite some time.
Pardon me, would you pass the grape upon?
Well, no, in Boston it would be, hey, you got any beans?
Hey, forget about it.
Yeah.
Hey, a cop-ock.
The
Astros just beat us.
Hey, I know a guy that knows a guy.
Also in 1920, Harley-Davidson registered Harley-Davidson trademark that was first used in 1906 on the motorcycles, but in 1920 they finally registered the trademark of Harley-Davidson. Even back then it was a V-twin.
Oh, man, but that is an ugly color.
Well, back then it was beautiful.
Yeah.
So
I'm sure that's a $100,000 bike.
I'm sorry. Well, not today. All right, let's move on.
And then in 1951,
look at that thing.
As Hudson launched its new mono-built body. So Hudsons were what today we call unibody, but they were the first to market with this as a unibody. So they had a subframe in the front and a subframe in the rear and a unibody.
Can I tell you my Hudson story?
Please.
Okay, just pause it right there.
Pause?
So
we are men of pause.
That's good. I like that. So back in the day, I have to tell you that little girl lived around the corner from me, Lori Brown.
Was she at the 50th?
No, she was not. No, and it's not the 50th. So you just shut up and let me read my story. Once again, you're interrupting. She lived around the corner, and we both went to the same grade school. And when the weather was bad, we kind of carpooled. So I would walk around the corner where she lived, and
come off. Hello.
Can I tell my story now?
Absolutely.
You carpooled and you came around the corner?
Yes, and her mother had a Hudson Hornet.
Oh, cool.
Wow.
I was so embarrassed to ride in that car. That was, in my mind, back then, and I was in grade school, 6, 7 years old. I thought that was probably the ugliest car I had ever seen in my entire life. I remembered it to this day.
Car reviews when he was a kid.
Inline 6,
God, it was so ugly,
and
though.
it was a NASCAR champion year after
Sir,
year.
it was just this round, bug-looking thing that was ugly. Anyway, go ahead.
So
that's the end of the story.
They released the unibody design, and they called it the step-down design because with the unibody, you didn't have to step up over the frame, so the cars were much lower to the ground than traditional cars back in the day.
So it was the stepchild of the brand.
And then in 1958, Chevrolet introduced the El Camino.
Yay.
And the El Camino was kind of a sedan pickup truck thing.
That's cool.
And I loved them.
That's cool.
Now, that version of the El Camino, they only built for 2 years, 59 and 60.
Thank God.
And that was based off of the Bel Air. I believe it was the Bel Air body. It might have been Impala, but I think it was the Bel Air body. And then the El Camino went away and then was reintroduced in 1964 off of the Chevelle platform. In 1970, at the Bonneville Salt Flats, American Gary Gabelich attained 361 miles an hour average speed in the Blue Flame, which was just a solid rocket fuel rocket and wheels attached to it and just point and hold on tight.
Gabelich, that's one of your people, isn't it?
Gabelich?
No, it would be Gabelichski if it was one of his.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
In 1973, the Arab oil embargo started in October, and the gas shortage.
Oh, yes.
If you remember back then,
Very well.
You could only buy so much gas, and then you had to have an even number plate on one day and an odd number plate on the other day, and. My dad had me switching plates between the three cars we had so he could just get gas anywhere he wanted.
But that applies to today.
Yeah.
Not yet.
Close to it.
We're headed that way.
Let's go, Brandon.
And
you have
then,
a minute and a half to finish this.
I'll be
Hurry.
finished. You took up some of my time.
I did.
Thank you. And in 1973,
I'm about to take up some more time.
In 1973, 5 days after the Arab oil embargo started, Toyota was holding their international news conference talking about fuel-efficient automobiles. So I thought the timing of that was probably good. It might have been a little better than we thought because there may have been a little collusion there with their low or high fuel mileage cars in the Arab oil embargo. But at the time, you got to remember, the big three really weren't selling fuel-efficient cars. Ford, Pinto, Chevy, Vega.
Nobody bought those things.
Right. So those were their most fuel-efficient cars. And that was this week in auto history.
Wait a minute. I didn't tell you to go short.
Well, that's okay because we keep coming up with this thing on your class reunion. and I've been kind of wanting to ask.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm going to...
Oh!
What?
Dun,
Did you say something? See, I have the pleasure of controlling all of the audio over here, so I can just cut them right off.
The mix master.
So when the audio goes wacky, it's always Don's fault.
It's always when anything goes wacky, it's always
wacky.
Don's
Well,
fault.
that's Mars's fault.
What is the question again?
I'm going to my 50th class reunion tonight, and I'm kind of wondering, since you're so much older than me, how you were going to your 50th is where I was getting. I couldn't make the math add up.
Well, because you got to remember with Don, the fourth grade was the hardest 7 years of his life.
Ah, okay. Now I got it.
You got it now?
Yeah, I got it now.
Okay. Now, if you'd like to be graded on all of this, please, next weekend we'll be more than happy to grade you on your performance.
And George Skelton says Lori currently lives in Boston with her oldest son, Hudson.
Oh, God. All right. That's it for this hour
Thanks,
of the
George.
In Real Time Car Show. We'll be right back after these brief messages from your local sponsor.
Whether you own a newer car or want to keep your older one humming along for a while longer, think of Bayway Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, Bayway Chevy, and Bayway Lincoln to keep things in tip-top shape. From oil changes to major repairs, you can depend on the highly skilled service pros at Bayway Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, Bayway Chevrolet, and Bayway Lincoln to perform fast, efficient service to keep your investment running strong. For all your service needs, remember Bayway. Schedule your next appointment online anytime. Bayway, keeping it original. Tailpipes and Tacos, Houston's premier monthly cruise-in, will return Saturday, December 18th to the Loopy Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy. Tailpipes and Tacos wants to thank all of the participants and fans who've enjoyed the collector cars, hot rods, customs, originals, and resto mods, and everything in between. We'll be taking a break for Thanksgiving and Autorama, but we'll be back for a great Christmas cruise-in on December 18th, so make plans now. You know that Tailpipes and Tacos is the Houston area's coolest cruise-in, a place you'll see friends, family, and the finest cruise-in cars in the Houston area. It all happens at the Loopy Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy on the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard, just south of I-10. Get your ride ready for a very special Christmas cruise-in, Loopy style. It's Tailpipes and Tacos, Saturday, December 18th. The In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show will be there too. Let's celebrate the Christmas season together at the next Tailpipes and Tacos on December 18th. We'll see you then, weather permitting. Gulf Coast Auto Shield has moved to a more convenient location. Now you can visit John Gray and his staff of dedicated professionals at their new shop on the South Sam Houston Parkway between Belford and Airport in Southwest Houston. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is the best at paint correction and ceramic coatings. Clear bras and custom wraps are specialties that only Gulf Coast Auto Shield installs with award-winning accuracy, and all their services come with a warranty. Lamborghini, Aston Martin, Porsche, and Ferrari owners depend on Gulf Coast Auto Shield for their specialty services, and you should too. The In-Wheel Time Corvette and Cutlass have both been massaged by Gulf Coast Auto Shield, so isn't it time your vehicle visit their new shop in Southwest Houston? Call John Gray today at 832-930-5655 or visit online at gcautoshield.com. That's gcautoshield.com. Paint, coatings, wraps, and more at gcautoshield.com. That's it for this podcast episode of the In-Wheel Time Car Show. I'm Don Armstrong, inviting you to join us for our live show every Saturday morning, 8 to 11 a.m. Central on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and our InWheelTime.com website. Podcasts are available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeart Podcast, Podcast Addict, TuneIn, Pandora, and Amazon Music. Keep listening, and we'll see you soon.